Okay. Yes.
We're showing 6 o'clock on enough devices that must be what time it is. So I'm going to call this meeting to order of the Oskaloosa City Council.
Yes.
To the police department, annexation of a property, changing the zoning of another, working with the county to repair Old Highway 163, and updating our wastewater ordinance. And there are probably other deliberations for the long-term future of the city. So we ask that you look down on those who have felt you're called to be in attendance. For the council members and staff, please bless us with quiet and considerate attitudes, well thought out deliberations, and ultimately decisions that are best for all concerned. Please bless those in the audience and watching the broadcasts, the leaders of businesses and organizations who have the vision and commitment to help our city, the countless volunteers who are motivated to help, and informed citizens who have given us the privilege of their trust and support. Tonight, we assemble to combine the talents that you have given us for the benefit of Oskaloosa. May the words of our mouths and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight. Amen.
Right. Thank you.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Hermsen,
Here.
Almond,
Here.
Burnett,
Here.
Caligari,
Here.
Dross,
Here.
Ocean.
Yes. Here.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, first item up on our agenda tonight is the opportunity for community comments. This item is reserved to receive comments from the community for concerns whether or not they're included in the current agenda. The community is encouraged to speak before the mayor and city council, asked to keep statements brief. Time shall be limited to no more than 3 minutes. Any questions are to be asked to the city staff, the council members, or the mayor prior to speaking to the full council, so concerns can be properly researched and answered away from the meeting. Comments are to be directed to the mayor and city council only. In essence, what do you want us to know? Is there anyone who would like to speak tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on. Next item is the consent agenda. These are all items that are routine in nature. They're all handled through a single motion and second. There wasn't anything in particular that I wanted to draw the council's attention to. Do we have a motion supporting the consent agenda?
Move.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ocean,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Caligari,
Yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Hermsen.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Getting into the regular agenda, first is the announcement of vacancies that we have at the various boards and commissions. On the Airport Commission, we have 1 vacancy for a term ending in December of 2027 and 1 vacancy for a term ending in December of 2023. The Building Code Board of Appeals, we have 1 vacancy for a regular member and 1 for an ex officio member. Historic Preservation Commission, there's a vacancy for a term ending in December of 2023. And the Library Board of Trustees, we have 3 vacancies that are for terms ending in June of 2023. Next up, we have a presentation on the status of the 2019 EPA Brownfields Program by H.R. Green. Are they here? The floor is yours.
Make it easier to see or
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you want to. Lights,
totally up to you.
yeah. Why don't we, can we drop the lights that are over on this side where the council's at? Does that work for you?
Sure.
Oh,
We can see it fine
It's an
here.
either
Yeah,
or.
maybe we could do the other way. There we go. Yeah, let's do that.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Okay, well, thank you for having us here this evening
Bob?
to talk to you guys about your Brownfield Assessment Grant. We are with HR Green. We've been working with the city since you guys received your 2014 assessment grant. And my name is Rose Amundsen. I have been serving as project manager for your grants as well as a project scientist. I'm here with Steve Prideaux. He has helped to write your Brownfield Assessment Grant applications as well as help me with day-to-day tasks of this grant. So, what we're going to talk about today is kind of, again, an overview of what brownfields are, the benefits of redeveloping brownfield sites. There's quite a bit of work entailed in that, so why do it? As well as an overview of the EPA program and what you guys have accomplished and overviews thus far, community resources, and then what's next. So what's a brownfield? I have the definition up here, but in short, it's really any real property that's being impacted or perceived to be impacted by contamination that is in some way, shape, or form preventing it from being redeveloped, used, or brought back into use by the community in a similar manner to property surrounding it. So think residential right next to a former industrial facility that's closed shop, left there to kind of, age on its own. They're unattended. They can pose a health risk to the surrounding area as well as anyone who might come and wander, because a lot of people like to explore these vacant structures. And it can impact the surrounding neighborhood and property value. So some of the typical brownfield sites, you're thinking like gas stations, dry cleaners, former industrial warehouses and whatnot. But they really do take all shapes and forms. It just depends. A lot of vacant lots sometimes then welcome illegal dumping, You'll see people dropping off mattresses and whatnot, sometimes drums, not really ideal uses. Some of the characteristics, they're eyesores. They tend to impact not just the property themselves, but also surrounding areas. They tend not to be occupied spaces a lot of the times. They're vacant. So why develop them? Why take them on? Because there really is quite a heavy lift with it. Really, not just addressing the environmental health and human risk of exposure to contamination on the sites, but also preventing urban sprawl. A lot of these properties are within the heart of your community, so reinvesting in them, in the infrastructure that already exists there, either stormwater, sanitary, what you have already built up in your community. A lot of the times these create jobs as well. Sometimes you'll see them redeveloped into parks and residential reuse, which is great in terms of different kinds of reuses of these facilities. But a lot of times you'll also see commercial facilities that bring jobs into your community, increasing the tax base. It also helps to create kind of that stepping stone. If you do see a property that has some significant impact, a lot of the work that's done under the assessment grant is needed to ultimately get a cleanup grant or even state funds to kind of help with any kind of mitigation or cleanup, should that be needed for a site. So the EPA Brownfield Program, it's a voluntary program. Property owners do sign access agreements and allow us to be on their property. A lot of times it's, through conversations with them, talking about what the program is about, what we're there to do, what it will accomplish. The phase 1 environmental site process, it really is, lenders are starting to require it more and more as part of the land transfer, as they're financing property exchanges. Then the 4 goals, in addition to, or as well as addressing protecting human health and the environment, is sustainable reuse. So again, getting back to that reuse of existing infrastructure, not needing to run new utilities out to sites. Promoting partnerships within the community. EPA is really big on using the network that you guys already have established within your community, citizens talking to other citizens about what the program is all about, and strengthening the marketplace. So a little bit of history with your EPA grant history or your experience. You guys have received 3 grants in the past, 2 in 2014 for both the petroleum and hazardous substances. And then additionally in 2019, the current grant that we're operating under is a hazardous substances grant. So current grant, it's a 3.5-year grant that occurred during COVID, so that was fun. Trying to get out into the community and talk to people about what they want to see in your community. We did accomplish that in different ways here, which was, it was good. It was really good. But the grant application included 2 target areas. First, the former brick plant. In target areas, through the grant application, you kind of identify those early on, and then you're allowed to use redevelopment funds or reuse planning funds to kind of see what, not just assess the property using phase 1 and phase 2 environmental site assessments, but also what that property might look like, either through infrastructure, market studies, visioning studies. What ultimately do you want to see there, and kind of conceptually build that up. So for the former brick plant, that was a market study, and the former, I got backwards. Former brick plant was an infrastructure study. Former Mon Pa Buchanan oil site, that's the second target property, and that was a market study component with the use planning. So I talked a little bit about how EPA really likes to have the community network, citizens talking with citizens, informing everyone about what's going on. As part of that, you guys have an advisory committee that's made up of members within your community. They're associated with these different organizations. Their role was not just to kind of review sites that we thought would be good brownfield sites, but also talk to property owners, because again, they're in your community. They might already know the people that we're talking about. Hey, this would be a really good brownfield site. Let's go ahead and start talking to these people. So they were able to use their networks, as well as we worked with them for the market study. So the conceptual development for the former Ma and Pa, what that might look like. The community engagement component, this is where that COVID got, it was really fun, but we've had 5 advisory committee meetings. We will have our 6th before the end of this month to kind of complete that work. This is our 2nd time here talking about the brownfield grants, as well as we hosted a table at the farmers market. So that was really nice because we were able to talk to individuals in your community about what they know about the brownfield program, or if they know about any of the properties that have been assessed under the program that now are being redeveloped, as well as what they might see as needs within your community. One of the things we heard was the need for residential affordable housing was one thing. So.
Heard that before.
And we also then, you guys have put together another grant application, so that was also good information to feed into the need that you guys have for future grants. Going back to those 2 target areas that we talked about, this is the former brick plants that we've completed an infrastructure study on. And specifically for this infrastructure study, we're looking at stormwater. We understand that you guys have had flooding here along 3rd Avenue in the past. Maybe some of the sizing of pipes and whatnot needed to be addressed. There's a culvert here that goes here across the street, outlet somewhere about here, and then you have surface water flow. So also during the completion of this project, you guys had a stormwater master plan project. So we're looking to integrate that as well as within the infrastructure study and look at it from the environmental needs of this property with the history and with the assessment work that's been done. So look at best management practices as we look at what this area could look like from a park with trail access and maybe some overland flow with the stormwater runoff from the road here. Second target area was the former Ma and Pa Buchanan oil facility. This is being, the market study evaluated the reuse of the property for residential reuse. A little bit of environmental impact, but also how might this redevelop for residential reuse, single family versus apartments, townhouses, and developing a site layout for that, evaluating utility access and just feasibility from that perspective. And at this point, I'm going to actually hand it off to my colleague Steve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. All right. So again, my name is Steve. I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all today. I've been working on this project since 2014, about 10 years, so it's really fun to come up here and present to you guys about what's been done using these federal funds. Specific to this grant, we were able to complete 10 phase 1s and 6 phase 2 environmental site assessments. You can see there's a variety of land uses that we've investigated, whether it's vacant lots, former school, underutilized commercial sites, etc. Speaking back to what Rose said with the market study and infrastructure valuation, this is kind of a value-added thing that has started to occur under these EPA grants. Previously, they only allowed for environmental investigations. So the EPA really put a lot of effort into ensuring that these are not just environmental site assessments that sit on a shelf somewhere, but that you're providing developers and interested parties with the information needed to redevelop the sites. And we're pretty confident that these will be good tools for you guys to be able to use to ensure that those revitalization plans are accomplished. But most importantly, this work has created 37 new permanent jobs and leveraged $1.31 billion in private investment to date. This is a good visual representation of where you guys have expended funds. So this not only includes your current grant, but also the 2014. So any site that's been touched at all through the process is highlighted here. So there's different phases, whether it's had a phase 1, a phase 2, if it's simply identified but we couldn't get access from the property owner, etc. And I'll explain more about this web portal later. But this is a holistic look of how the city of Oskaloosa has expended its previous grant funds. Moving on to the success stories under this current grant. This first site is on High Avenue. This is a vacant lot that's located across from a scrapyard, a former bulk oil facility, some underground tanks that were leaking. So the developer, prior to taking title, wanted to get a phase 1 done. We were able to do that. The city recently issued a permit for $900,000 for a new strip mall that's going to be anchored by a laundromat. A second site cleared on this property is a vacant lot next to Cunningham along South Market Street. So this is one where you guys had Pizza Hut calling, looking for potential sites. They wanted to see a phase 1 and a phase 2. We came in, we did some drilling. We didn't find any constituents above their respective statewide standard. It was clear for redevelopment, and now you guys got a new pizza hut going up. So when Rose is talking about a brownfield being either contaminated or just the perception of contamination, this is a great example of this. Yes, it was a brownfield site. It's a vacant lot next to an old industrial use, but it's just the perception. So we go in there and we check the groundwater and soil, and we found out that there's nothing there. So this is a good example of how these funds can be used. And lastly, this is the one from this current grant that I'm most excited about, the old Oskaloosa Herald. Again, we did the phase 1, phase 2, facilitated the property transfer, didn't find anything. The only real concerns here are the building materials, so they're going to have some asbestos and lead-based paint to deal with upon redevelopment. But from what we've heard, this is going to be maybe a future commercial, mixed-use structure. I'm not sure, but I believe it's still at the early planning stages. Got a couple of legacy success stories. These are kind of your big shining star ones. The former Andrews Mine, located across from Walmart. This intersection sat vacant forever, and just again that perception of, oh man, this used to have some strip mining activity on it, probably chased away a lot of potential developers. So again, using this grant to go in and investigate it. Cleared it, $8 million investment, and I remember at one time when we were working with Aquila, she had said that this was like the largest private investment in the community for like 20 years. So that's pretty cool. And then lastly, we got a quality of life enhancement here with the brand new YMCA. This site was selected, and it was near a leaking underground storage tank. We did the phase 1, which is kind of a cursory look at it, where we're looking at existing records. And we determined, the impact wasn't there. We didn't need to come back and do the phase 2. So again, clearing the perception for reuse. As Rose indicated, this grant is winding down. It's actually done at the end of the month, but there's some resources that the community is interested will still continue. The city of Oskaloosa has done a tremendous job being completely 100% transparent with this. So if you go to oskaloosaiowa.org, or excuse me, is it .org? The city website, /brownfields, you can click on any site that we've investigated, every report that's ever been done. So if there's a developer from North Carolina who wants to look at a vacant lot, or you're an interested neighbor, everything is available at your fingertips. So we've got before and after pictures, we've got DNR response letters if there was any. Everything should be out there. The project brochure, similar to what we talked about today, is available at City Hall. It gives some good contact information, some frequently asked questions, things like that. What's next? So the city retained us to prepare another grant application this fall. It was a $400,000 request that did not require any local match. We anticipate EPA is going to award these sometime in April, May. and with an October 1st starting date, assuming you got awarded, and it's a 4-year project period. So this will continue your guys' project for another 4 years. Way at the beginning, we did a GIS model where we identified like 123 potential sites, and we slowly whittled away at that list with these grants. So fingers crossed we get this one awarded.
Good. What do you think the probability is that we get awarded again?
I think very good. The city of Oskaloosa has demonstrated that these, referring back to reports staying on the shelf, you guys flip these. We do reporting to EPA in a database that shows for every dollar that they've expended, you guys are leveraging above the national average, and that goes back to the YMCA, it goes back to the hotel, and things like this. So you guys are exceeding the national averages for these types of projects. So I would assume pretty good.
Great. The property that,
Thank you, folks, for your
Yes.
assistance. We appreciate it, so
Yeah.
thank you.
You're welcome. Do you guys have any questions for Rose or I?
well, the one property where the store was gonna go down on Dollar Tree, Dollar something?
Oh, on the.
Dollar General, that property there, was that on Brownfield too or not? No, it's on,
You're talking A Avenue next to the bowling alley?
east side, by the bowling alley,
West of
before
the
the bowling alley.
Yeah, I think that was identified, so it's just north of the old mall.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a small property.
Just north and east of the brick plant.
Oh, the strip mall itself?
No, it's on A Avenue
Oh,
Is
east.
that where the building was
Oh.
that they tore down?
Yeah.
How do we-
Yeah.
I was gonna. Where's that map?
Yeah, go to
Sorry.
that.
Thank you, Sean.
I don't believe that one was
Oh, of course. So it's probably like right.
Right
Yeah,
up in there.
right in there, yeah.
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 Was,
Was that on the lid? No, not.
No.
It was not previously investigated, but so your current grant's 300,000. The EP Rescue program got a boost in funds with $400,000. So provided you guys get awarded this, there's plenty of money to address sites. So that could be one of them. The new target site or target area was to the east of what's the old hotel on the highway we were looking at, the restaurant. Just east of like the old Kmart and Walmart. That was one of our target
By the
areas.
Super
We're
8.
clear.
Yeah.
Ponderosa, is that the new dog grooming?
Yeah.
I was gonna
Oh,
ask
is
you
that-
about that. Is that the property, the old Ponderosa?
I'm
No,
not
that's
sure.
no.
Where Clayball was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is that?
It
Where,
was-
where the dog grooming place
Yeah.
was.
Okay, because
What you were
that was, I'm already spending money there. So
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
that's exceptional.
Perfect.
You mentioned the old brick, what's going to be the use
right.
there? Because it's kind of in a floodplain, is that right, or not? I've always wondered when I drive by there to go to farm.
right, that's gonna be recreational park space.
Okay,
We had that, we had that in the
Access
comp
coming in
plan.
from the west there. and
Okay.
It's gonna kind of tie in and then, yeah.
has there been any talk, they do this in England a lot, where they take brownfields and make allotments for garden spaces, so you have like small, so it's in a place that you can't build on, but you certainly could have a garden depending on the weather. Have we talked about that at all with any brownfields?
Years ago, Oskaloosa has had community gardens
Yeah.
with mixed success. They were a
Yeah.
hot topic for a couple of years.
Right, and then
not
these
so-
are allotments, so you have I have a
Right.
space,
It's a lot. Small.
so it's not like you work on it together. I have my own spot, you have your own lot.
Right, right, that was the design.
Okay, okay. So,
And that could be something explored. And Sean, I think that when we're talking about the reason of the brick plant, that was consistent with the new comp plan that was just
Yep.
adopted, correct?
Correct.
Mhm.
Yep.
Sean, do you want to talk about potential sites we talked about on the table?
Yep, so Schrago's with the change of ownership recently, that was also identified. And
Yep.
we were going to do an assessment
We did.
of that, so that's been completed. So that will hopefully encourage redevelopment of that.
Which
site
one?
as well.
Okay, so were there any findings on that?
Unfortunately, we only had funds left to do the phase 1. So
Okay, so just.
again, fingers crossed to get this award. That will be one of the first things we do.
Phase
is-
2.
Okay,
So at
probably
this
slow
point, it's
more
still
now.
eligible, you would just need to go back and revisit that with EPA under the next grant, and we did complete a phase 1, there were our recognized environmental conditions related to this.
well, I mean,
Right.
it's been rumored for years, but no proof.
Yeah.
And so, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions from council?
maybe
Thank you.
Okay,
you,
thank you
guys.
very much. Well done.
Guys.
Sean, light. Sean.
I like it that way.
Bear that in mind for future presentations. So item B is to consider a resolution approving the voluntary annexation of the property owned by the Oskaloosa Community School District, generally located at 2098 Suffolk Road. So the school district applied for to voluntarily annex their, and it's got the parcel ID and Outlet A of the Pine Ridge Edition containing 5.18 acres. The parcel is undeveloped, generally located at 2098 Suffolk Road. As required by Iowa Code Section 368.7 sub 3, notice of the annexation was sent to the affected public utilities, Mahaska County Board of Supervisors, the Area 15 Regional Planning Agency, and any city within 2 miles, namely Beacon. And public notice was published in the Oskaloosa Herald. There have been no objections received. So annexation of the property will make our boundaries more uniform and allow the city to guide future residential development through the planning and zoning process. So staff is recommending the council hold a public hearing, receive comments, and approve the resolution for voluntary annexation. So I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion of support for this annexation?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Almond,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Calgery,
Yes.
Dross,
Yes.
Hermson,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item C, this is to consider an ordinance rezoning property in the vicinity of 212 2nd Avenue West from CC Community Commercial to DC Downtown Commercial. And so Gridco LLC, it's a real estate holding company from Musco, and applied to rezone their property in the vicinity of 212 2nd Avenue West from CC Community Commercial to DC Downtown Commercial. This rezoning area includes the MCG building with the parking areas, part of Musco's parking lot and building, the Penn Center Theater, Musco's facility shop, and adjoining vacant lots. The application states the request is to resolve split zoning on the Musco campus, and the DC zoning is the more conducive regarding setbacks and site coverage. Summarized review findings for the proposed rezoning. Number 1, the proposed rezoning is consistent with the Oskaloosa Comprehensive Plan, and so the subject property is recommended for mixed-use future land use, and the proposed DC zoning is compatible with that recommendation and appears to be more appropriate for the property and land use than the CC zoning would be. Number 2, the CC district is designed primarily for large properties and major shopping areas, not downtowns. So it requires large setbacks and limits the surface coverage on lots. So the DC district is more appropriate and designed specifically for downtown Oskaloosa. So it requires no setbacks and does not limit the lot coverage. Number 3, the zoning change is consistent with the existing land use patterns and wouldn't cause any encroachment into a residential neighborhood. Number 4, the change would not severely impact traffic or the downtown character or public facilities or the natural characteristics or change our population density. And finally, number 5, the change would not constitute spot zoning, which is defined as singling out a zoning change for the sole benefit of the owner and contrary to the comprehensive plan. So at the February 7th meeting, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing and voted to unanimously recommend approval of the proposed zoning to the City Council. And staff has concurred with this recommendation. Do we have a motion of support? Well, first off, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this? Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Do we have a motion of support for this rezoning?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any comments? Okay, roll call, please.
Burnett,
I'm going to abstain.
Calgery,
Yeah.
Dross,
Abstain.
Hermson,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Moving on to item D. This is to consider approval of a payment of $2,307 to SVPA for services completed on the Early Childhood Recreation Center. So we have received an invoice for the $2,307 for the additional services related to the construction issues with the swimming pool and delayed delays that are related to the early childhood wing of the YMCA. So SVPA, Architects, Water's Edge Aquatic Design, and IMEG are providing these services on an hourly as-needed basis in accordance with the AIA B101 standard form of agreement between owner and architect. The cost of some of these services may be charged back to the contractor per the owner-contractor agreement and the AIA A201 general conditions of the contract for construction. Staff is recommending approval of the invoice for payment. Do we have a motion of support?
So moved. Second.
Okay, any discussion? Roll call, please.
Caligiuri.
Yes.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
Burnett.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item E, this is a resolution approving an agreement with Mahaska County for a PCC, which would be a concrete pavement overlay on Old Highway 163. So Mahaska County is planning a pavement restoration project along Old Highway 163, that is. The county has been planning this project and is inviting the city to participate in repairing additional pavement, which extends into the city limits. The area is a part of the school and recreation district, and maintaining the roads in this area will make it appealing for continued development. Mahaska County has prepared plans for this project and estimates that 9.5% of the project length falls within city limits if the city decides to participate. The total estimated cost of the project is $946,025. Mahaska County is asking that the city of Oskaloosa contribute a portion of the cost associated with the work in the city limits, estimated to be $89,872. The city's actual contribution amount would be 9.5% of the total project costs at the end of the contract, and Mahaska County will be acting as the lead local government agency on this project. Do we have a motion of support for cooperating with this and spending the $89,872?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any
Well
discussion?
Get it done.
This needs it bad.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Well, and I commend the county for taking
I
the
do too.
initiative on this. That
Kudos.
it has a very nice effect for people that are coming into Oskaloosa off of 163.
I agree.
Roll call, please.
Dross.
Yes.
Hermson.
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes.
Almond.
Yes.
Burnett.
Yes.
Caligiuri.
Yes.
Okay, that passes. Item F. This is considering an ordinance amending Chapter 13.08 of the Oskaloosa Municipal Code for Public Sewer System. This is the second reading. Staff's been working with Fox Strand Associates to review the city code in order to make changes necessary to facilitate fair and proper use of the sanitary sewer system by industrial users. The current code does not include several clauses and information which are considered to be best practices in other cities. Updating the code will add clarity for new industries which may be interested in doing business within the city. The code revisions in full with the changes marked are shown in the document that was attached to our agenda tonight. A summary of the effective changes. First, the clarifications and changes to the definitions for industrial commercial wastes, industrial sludge, normal domestic wastewater, publicly owned treatment works, and the POTW treatment plant and slug loads. Second would be adding chapters for excessive discharge and accidental discharge. Third one, rewriting the chapters defining the city employees' right of entry and the restricted discharges, collection point for sampling. Fourth bullet point has to do with updates to the user charges for non-domestic users and addition for a rate for oil and grease. Fifth one is a change to methods for determination of quantity used. Number 6 is adding slug load penalties for the extra strength penalties chapter and revisions to show how infractions are implied. Next is adding chapters on defining and procedures for significant noncompliance, revocation of discharge permit and termination of sewer service, and emergency disconnection of services. Another bullet point is clarification on persons able to enforce the provisions. Next is additional terminology ensuring the representative and accurate sampling. Next, revisions to proceedings in instances where a violation occurs. And then another bullet point on various corrections to the ordinance and terminology. There's corrections to typographical errors, removal of a 15-minute requirement for slug loading, and finally, the revised industrial users to person discharging industrial wastes in section 1308.420. So Additionally, during the first reading, the council also questioned if the user fees should be moved into the fee schedule rather than being listed in the ordinance. This got some attention. Staff has reviewed the possibility, determining that leaving this in the ordinance would be preferable due to two main factors. First being that industries would have one centralized location to review all of the relevant information, and that the second being that since these fees are not currently in the fee schedule, that would result in having no user fees until the next time the fee schedule is updated. Staff is therefore recommending the fee schedule be updated to reference the ordinance the next time it's updated, but the actual rates would remain in the ordinance. So ISG has also provided their comments after the first reading, and that was also included in our packet tonight. So staff is recommending that the council approve the second reading of the ordinance authorizing the changes to the municipal code. Do you have a motion of support?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, discussion.
Yeah, if you open that back up again, you may have caught this already, I don't know, but on section 13.08.570 user charge, yeah, 13.08.570. It's down a ways, I think. 580. Yeah, right there. Oh, you fixed it. Oh, mine looks different. Okay.
That's because we're seeing the protected view.
Well, I guess. This was in the agenda, so I don't know. The agenda must not have been updated.
Yeah. Okay. Other comments? You know, we received comments from ISG, and those were considered as well, and so I think we're in a position where we can go ahead and vote on it if nobody's got any other comments. Roll call, please.
Ferguson,
Yes.
Ocean,
Yes.
Almond,
Yes.
Burnett,
Yes.
Calaburi,
Yes.
Drops,
Yes.
That passes. Gets us to the end of our regular agenda. Reports from city staff, city
Your
manager,
Honor.
anything?
Previously, Councilman Dross had a question about whether or not the city collected fees for sampling in the past, and we went back and checked on the record. None of the charges was being assessed to the industries.
Okay.
Do you want to talk about when?
About when?
2017, when we went back and looked at the records on the charges for samples? The lab samples?
As far as our lab samples?
Yep.
Never. They've never been passed on.
Yeah. So we found charges
Yep.
from a long time ago, but looks like since 2017 confirmed that they were never assessed to anybody.
Okay. Thank
They
you.
were out of date far enough that I think we were charging $10. Nobody knows where it come from. It was a fee schedule, but it just had, if I remember right, just lab sample on it. A basic $10 fee. Current cost of some of the samples run between $14 and $37.
Okay. Was that roughly about the time that the 2080 agreement was put together, where wastewater was taken over by?
I think Kelly was saying it predated him.
It
right?
predates
me, but it probably is about the time of the original
2015 would have been the original 28E, and prior to that, I mean, we found no records of anything being charged, but it was
billing for them is wonky because it doesn't, that's the only thing that's not built through our billing system. And if you get this done where you're at here and finalize the rate of measure, we can probably at least run the amount of gallons through the regular billing system where we bill.
Okay.
Now we just have to do a spreadsheet. It's kind of wonky.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Amal?
That's it. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
City clerk's not here. Yeah. Anything you just are sure that she would say?
I have nothing to say.
Okay.
Probably
City
wise.
recording.
Put her on the spot.
Anything, city attorney?
thank you, sir.
Okay. Let's see. City council members. Lisa, anything?
So So mine is going to be dogs and cats, okay? The new grooming center that opened up, went to their open house. That place is hopping. The colors are good. The logo. I've got my dog in there. Libby has never looked so good. I can't say enough. And people who don't have cats and especially dogs, there's just a huge market for this. You know, we could have, as my vet said, 2, 3, 4 more dog groomers in town and still have jobs. So it's something there. So I can't say enough how that building, I never even saw it before, you know, and now it's a mecca for dog owners. Second, on cats, I am a cat owner as from the Stevens Shelter, and that our cat is so healthy. The vet on Friday, everything was animals on Friday. The vet didn't even charge me a visit in that. So Stevens just does a fantastic job with their animals. So sweet and very healthy kitty.
Very good. Joe?
And Frank.
Oskaloosa Main Street is still looking for a director, so if anybody's interested, we have a great community. So
Good out there.
Bandorama starts in 18 minutes at the high school.
All right, yeah.
Me too.
You're gonna get there.
For those easily
Thank you for the
influenced.
short meeting.
No, thanks.
Okay, Steve.
The mayor has asked me to speak about where you can watch us. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but where you can see city council meetings right now, if you watch them on Channel 7 at MCG, they can also be seen by streaming them off a link from the city's website. If you go to the MCG website, you can get all the local sports from the high schools, and as well as the city council, the school board meetings, and the supervisors meetings from there. And if you have any questions, you can certainly call the MCG office, and they will get you to the right place to where you can stream those if you wish. So thought to make sure you knew they're out there, they're available. So from anywhere, you can be on vacation and watch us if you like. So yeah.
Insomnia?
Yeah.
Sounds like fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. If you didn't think of that on your own, here's our idea. So, okay, and the only thing I wanted to add was that we do have Eggs and Issues coming up this coming Saturday. We'll be focusing on healthcare, specifically the hospital, and then also emergency management, which has gotten some attention lately. So it's an opportunity to ask questions as you see fit. 8:30 at Smoky Row. Coffee is free if you get the stuff that Midwest One is putting out for you. So with that, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Moved. Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Love it.